All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is your identity brainstorming worksheet. So this is what we're going to do to brainstorm. Remember that when we brainstorm, we come up with multiple ideas, and it's okay if we don't love every idea when you're brainstorming. You just want to put down as much information as you can. So you will notice there are a lot of boxes on this page. I don't expect every box to be filled, but everyone's identity is a little different. So it could be that you have like 5 things in this area and only 3 things here and maybe 2 things here but 3 things here. Overall, I want you to fill between 10 to 15 rows. Okay? So the sections, there are 4 sections of ideas. First are what groups are you a part of? What does being part of them mean to your life? What this means is anything that you do as a group of people. If you're in a sports team, that might go here. So this could be something like teams, this could be clubs, anything you do together as a group. Now, for me, when I do anime for me is a group activity because I go to conventions with friends. So anime is for me a group. I've got the meaning, what it means to me, why anime is a group activity, and why it's what it means as a part of my life. And then I come up with images. Now, since I'm talking about conventions, I'm going to draw like a badge, and then I'm also going to draw like my favorite anime character. So these are things that you do together as a group. It could also be groups that you're a part of, like a culture. So if you have a specific culture that you're a part of, you could also fit that here. Anything that is about a group of people that you would consider yourself a part of. You want to come up with multiple images and not just I'm not going to make you watch me fill in my whole paper, but I want you to think about all of these. The next one is what interests or hobbies do you have? How do they impact the way you spend your time? So these are things you do. So these were things you did together as a group. These are things you do individually. So for me, this one's a little easier for me to come up with really quickly. So I've got sewing. I've got, let's see, I've got art. I've got sci-fi. I've got, okay. We'll just keep going. So you can brainstorm a bunch of things and then come back and do the others, or you can do them one at a time like I did over here. Doesn't matter. So, sewing. The meaning for me is I like to sew costumes. So images that remind me of sewing, I can draw like a needle and thread. I could draw like a piece of a costume because I create a lot of corsets, so I kind of like that image to represent sewing for me. Okay? I could do art. I enjoy crafts. And then I can draw something like, oh, well, let's draw like an art palette or a paintbrush. So I'm coming up with multiple ideas. Okay? Ooh, photography could be something else I want to put here. All right. So you're going to fill in here. You notice I'm filling in a bunch of these. This one's probably going to be your most full section because it's the one that most of us do the most of. All right. Next. Think about your important beliefs and values. How do they influence the person you are? Now realize that over here, this one deals with friends and families and relationships. So even though friends and family are sometimes things we value, I know that there's something that almost all of us value, so I put it together over here as a separate section. So these ones you want to be more things like big ideas. It could be if you're someone who values money. It could be over here if you're religious. Money, charity, kindness. Like think about big ideas, things that you really value, that you really think are really important in your life. This could also be where if you have a religion, if you practice a religion, your religion could go in here too. Okay. So for me, I value education. I think that's a big part. That's one reason why I'm a teacher. But I also think that I really think people should go and learn as much as they can. So I also go back and go to school a lot. So for me, if I'm valuing education, maybe that is, I also value like reading books. So I've got books. So I've just drawn a book, or maybe like graduation cap. All right, so these drawings are not perfect finished drawings. They're just sketches. They're just ideas. Remember, this whole thing is about ideas. It's about getting ideas on your paper. Your last section is how do your friends, family, or relationships shape your life? So these you can think about, like for example, you could think about family as a whole, or you could think about, like I think about my parents, and I think about my son, and then I could think about my best friend. And then, so I have my dad and mom, and maybe I come up with a symbol for each. Like my dad really likes making things, so if I draw like a hammer, my mom is a breast cancer survivor, so maybe I draw like the cancer ribbon. So see what I'm doing. I'm coming up with lots of different images that I can pick from for the next step. So go complete your identity brainstorming.